Take back your soul. This is another transmission from Mahadeva here at thunderwizard.com headquarters, where you find the world's only unified spiritual energy system at thunderwizard.com. Get ready, because here I come. Hello YouTube, this is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard, and yes indeed it is true. You are not a created being. You are infinite consciousness, quantum folded into a human body. That is your base assumption for everything that you do. So if you find yourself in a thought process where you're not coming from that awareness, that you are in fact infinity, quantum folded inside a human body, then you might want to stop and adjust your outlook of yourself, because we are headed for a massive shift. I know that I myself have gone through one and am in the process of going through another. And I believe that there is one coming for the entire Earth. And I don't know when exactly that's going to arrive or what that's going to look like, but based on what I'm thinking and feeling and seeing, it's potentially going to be a total awareness, a total shift in awareness of, where we live and who we are, and what is our relationship to the universe, and all of that. So, by the way, as you can see, I'm in my new place. You see, does that need to be cleaned off? I'm in my new place. The one I was in, I had to leave, and so I'm in a beach house here in North Florida. And I was pretty bummed about it for a bunch of reasons I'm not going to kvetch about. But I was able to get some surfing in yesterday. And it was small, but I had a good time. And that reset my hard drive. So as long as I can get that in on a regular basis, I'm going to be okay. But still, anyway. But so for right now, I'm feeling good. And I thought it was important for me to get on here and to say hello to you guys. So, what I went through in September, coming to realize all the things that I did about the world that we were living and the current scenario that we've been experiencing for the past 2 years, and all of the lies and manipulation, and that a lot of the understandings that I had about the universe, about the world, the human world, Earth, and the people who are running it, coming to understand that many, not all, but many of the conspiracy theories actually are accurate. And what does that mean? But then recently coming to understand that my understanding of consciousness in the universe has shifted dramatically. When I really sat and dealt with the actual facts that the government of the United States, the deep state military, the Pentagon, has been feeding to the mainstream media the truth that we are not alone in the universe, and that there are other beings out there from other planets who have technologies far superior to ours, who can come and go as they please. What the heck does that mean? And when you start thinking along those lines, it's really easy to get frightened. And I just got back from the gym just not 5 minutes ago, And so the radio on my car was just playing whatever the station was at on the car when I bought it, and happened to be, some Fox News affiliate, and there was these two guys on there talking about conspiracy theories, and they were going off about how the moon landing was a fake, which it wasn't, and other things. And it started dawning on me that we do need to be open to understand uncomfortable truths about our world and about our society. But we can't lose our most important asset, which is, as I said in the beginning of the video, our most important asset is to understand that we are infinity quantum folded into a human body, that we as conscious beings, we are consciousness, that there's no difference between our deepest essence of who we are and God. If you want to believe in a God, there's no difference. So if that's true, then you have nothing to worry about. There is no force in the universe that can harm your essence. No form of anything in the universe can harm your essence. Even if your body gets destroyed, your essence can never be touched. That's why it's so important to drop all of that neo-Gnostic fear of the afterlife. You got to drop that, because that's your domain. That's where you thrive. Whatever limitations you have in this human brain, your physical body, your emotions, your psychology, all of that, all of those limitations disappear the moment that you leave your physical body. It may take your soul a while to realize, oh, I'm not stuck in that human body anymore. I don't have those limitations. To get back to that sense of infinity. It's really important to drop that. So what is the most important thing that we need in this universe? What is the most important thing that we need in order to get through this upcoming shift? It is the fearlessness that comes from knowing that you are loved. The most important thing is the fearlessness that comes from knowing that you are loved. Lots of times when I talk about being fearless, people want to, I'm realizing that is, they may have a hard time understanding where the fearlessness comes from. It comes from the knowledge that you are consciousness. And as consciousness, you are loved. You have to be. It doesn't, bear in mind, people have this idea that there's some kind of evil force out there in the universe that's stronger than them, or there's some God out there who has the power to judge you and throw you into some punishment, that there's this complete misunderstanding of the word karma, thinking that you're going to get punished. And number one, the complete misunderstanding that human life is some kind of punishment, because it's not. It is it's graduate school for the soul. It is higher learning. This is where you really learn, and your soul learns how to conquer the universe by being a human being. You're in a classroom right now. And it was an absolute privilege for your soul. Your soul waited for the opportunity and was given the opportunity to say, hell yeah, let's go. You forgot all that, but that's part of the training. That's okay. So you got to drop all of that. But I know that just telling you have to be fearless might not be enough. Your fearlessness comes from the awareness that you are loved simply because you are consciousness. So think about it for a second. If we look at the universe as an organism that needs to stay alive, the fuel of that organism is consciousness. This is what all science is coming to understand. Coming to understand that when you get past all of the mathematical equations, that the universe is consciousness, and that physical manifested reality is nothing more than an intended experience coming from consciousness. That this living being that we live in, that we call Maya, illusion, the universe, it is consciousness as well, and it responds to your consciousness. And to think that this organism called the universe would do something harmful to you doesn't make sense. And so then the question is, are you afraid simply because you don't know this? It's okay if you don't. You grew up in a home where you weren't loved simply because you exist, or you went through some tragedy and you lost that feeling of I am loved simply because I exist. So it's okay, you don't understand that. Is it that you lost that awareness, or is it that there's some narcissistic payoff in being a victim? Because sometimes it's that. There's a lot of people who are really attached to being a victim. And if you tell them that they're not, they will get furious with you. People get furious with me when I tell them, yes, you chose to incarnate, so that means you can choose to change your trajectory of your life. They get furious. Why would I choose to be here? Why would I? Well, does it serve you? I mean, if you want to buy into being a victim, has that helped you? How has that helped you make more money, be happier, feel more at ease, get love in your life? Has it helped you do any of those things? I never see victims get any of those things. So that's it. That's really all I wanted to focus on today, because I was grateful that I had finally gotten some surf in. I'd been surfing, but the surf had just been absolutely horrible. To be honest, the last two times before this one, the last two times I went, I would have been better off just not going, because it was worse than not surfing. But I'll tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? I think we'll see if this fixes it. But what I did was, I decided to stop feeling sorry for myself. And I'm not judging myself for that. I'm feeling sorry for myself for some very real reasons. But I realized that I had been just bad-mouthing everything here. So I went down to the beach, my new beach house. I can walk to the beach from where I'm at. And I went down to the beach, and I talked to the ocean, and I apologized. I said, listen, ocean, Florida ocean, I apologize. I have been thinking really bad thoughts about you. I've been saying bad things about you, and I want to apologize, and I want to start over. And I said, I want you to help me learn how to shift myself up to the next level, learn how to accept this water year. If you saw my most recent video, I'm in a water year. I want to learn and grow and expand with the knowledge that water is bringing me this year. And so I want your help with that. And boom, magically, as it turned out, the next day I got up, walked down to the beach, and went, wow, it's small, but that is surfable. And I took my new longboard out and surfed some fun little waves, and totally reset me, and at least for the moment I'm back to normal. Doesn't mean that I think everything is rosy here. There's a lot of things I find a little funny, but I got the things that I really need, and I'm happy again. So again, most important thing, we can talk about this if you want, which is the most important thing that we need to go forward is to understand that we are loved. Just to let you know, I feel like the universe responded back to me with love. It gave me a really great experience. I found actually a good spot that I can surf at with a nice little sandbar, and it's a nature park, so it's not surrounded by tall condominiums and other things associated with developed ugliness on the beaches. And I believe that was a direct result of my choosing to have a loving relationship with my surroundings. So the most important thing is the fearlessness that comes from knowing that you are loved. Why are you loved? Because you are infinite consciousness, quantum folded inside a human body. And so my job is to do whatever I can to help you, if possible, come to those awarenesses. But if you're not able to come to that awareness, that's okay too. The most important thing besides that is to take actions as though you knew it were true. You don't believe that you're loved because you exist. You think there are forces out there that want to destroy you and all that other stuff. And to some degree, you're accurate. But how do you deal with that? You learn to act as though if I were loved simply because I existed, because I am the consciousness of the universe inside a human body, and if that makes me Lord of the universe, how would I act? What actions, what fearless actions would I take? All right. I'm starting to talk in circles here, and I got what I wanted to say out. This is a question and answer. If you have any questions, you can write the word question in all caps, and you can also share any honest feelings that you have. What are your thoughts about? What are your questions surrounding this idea? That, you know, the thing that I'm starting to, again, I've shared it before, but trying to pull my consciousness out to accept is the understanding that we aren't, us humans, are not the most intelligent beings in the universe. That we're very low on the totem pole, and that there are other beings out there that are far more intelligent than us, that have far more advanced everything, not just technologically, but psychically. I mean, beings that don't even need to develop vocal cords, because the thought of, you know, having to speak with your mouth is just totally unnecessary. It's like us needing to have gills. We don't need gills anymore. They don't need vocal cords. They can just they can get what I can say in 2 hours, they can get in a second. They can just blip it into somebody's awareness. And the thought, what does that mean for me in this world? I mean, what is that? How does that change my spirituality? I got to let that expand me to a new state of being. But I'm still holding on to the same awareness, which is that I am consciousness, just like those beings out there. If they have, you know, if they're able to literally think things into existence, or stuff that I can't even begin to imagine, that is not as important as the fact that underneath all of that psychic brain power is a soul, just like mine and yours. They just have a different suit that they're wearing that has different capabilities. But inside of that is a soul. And I am equal to any other conscious being in the universe because I have that consciousness within me. And so I'm never going to let go of that understanding that I am loved simply because I exist. And it's not going to stop me from continuing to take fearless actions as though that were the case. The universe can't do anything harmful to me. It can't. And it can't because I am aware of who I am. Any harm that comes to me is as a result of a distortion in my thinking. If I allow my fear to distort my thinking, then the universe responds to that based on my actions, and that causes me, at the very least, opens me up to negativity. But don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about what doesn't work, only worry about what does work, which is that you are loved simply because you exist. And if you act based on that assumption, the universe always comes to you in a loving, constructive, healthy way. All right, let's see what kind of questions we got here. First and foremost, we have Thundra says, hello, she is one of my astrology apprentices. She has gone through my astrology course and she's been certified by me. You can go check her out at Thundra, thundra.thunderwizard.com. You can go check her out there. We also have vincent.thunderwizard.com, and that is his website, vincent.thunderwizard.com. Both Thundra and Vincent, besides being excellent Vedic astrologers, they also have a bunch of other services that they offer, and you can check them out at their respective websites. And if you want me to do for you what I just did for them, you can go to lockdown, LOCKDOWN.thunderwizard.com, and if you pass the tests, I will go ahead and give you a website, and if you wave at me during the live streams, I will advertise your services. All right, what else? Looking for the questions here. Vincent says, I'm streaming in 480p. I guess that's bad. Yeah, so I'm in a new place, so I guess I've got cheaper internet, so looks okay as I look at it. Let's see what else. Agent of the Universe, question. I can more accurately feel the energy field around my heart, and I have the experience that little lightning bolts are being released. Have you had this experience too? I have not had the experience of feeling little lightning bolts released. If you can have that experience, great. But again, Agent of the Universe, what is it that I keep telling you? It's not about the physical experience. That's meaningless. Because, you honestly don't know what is a result of your imagination and what is a result of actual physiological changes. And again, those physiological changes are going to, some days they're going to be different. As you know, there's been times on here where you say, I've lost it. Can you give me an energy transfer? And I tell you, you haven't lost anything. You're just it just feels different today. So I haven't experienced that. If you do, that's great. But again, don't get attached to any of it because the experiences don't mean anything. What are the three most important things? Number one, are you happier? Are you healthier? Are you more prosperous? That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that proves that what you are doing has real, practical usefulness. If you opened up your third eye and you saw all of the universes in every time stream, but you were unhappy and unhealthy and living on the street, it would be meaningless. So focus on using these practices for those three things: being happier, healthier, and more prosperous. But I'm glad you're at least having that. That sounds like fun. Zeralath, honest feeling. I am excited. I finally manifested a job I immediately needed to assist my gardening start this year and finish paying off my debts. I'm working my Taurus energies. Congratulations. I'm happy to hear that. What is that? Casey Jones, I'm trying to decide if that was a passive-aggressive thing to say there. I'm not sure yet. Creative Virgo, question. For people who dropped their meat suit, can they interact with us on the physical, move something? Why do you care? What does that have to do with you? How does that help you? How does that information help you have a better life? I honestly don't know the answer to that. I've had experiences where that was the most logical conclusion, that somebody that had passed was trying to get my attention, and that was, but my experience is that people don't do that. That when they leave, their meat suit, they don't try to do that. That's low level nonsensical stuff. There's an understanding that souls have when they leave the body that, listen, this is no longer my playground, and it's not my business to be interacting with physical humans. It's just not my business anymore. They can interact with us on a soul level, sometimes on our emotional level, maybe in dreams, but even then, we don't know if it's our unconscious mind. So my answer to your question is, who cares? I just answered the other person's question. So Marie France, if you look above you, you see Creative Virgo wrote the word question. She did that so that I wouldn't miss it. So the idea is so that if you want me to answer your question, you write that there. Write the word question in there. So I think I answered your question there. Gil Sklepio's question, would you consider continuing the Rune series videos? What is there to continue? I've done 3 books. 3 books. I don't know that have you read all 3 of my books? Have you watched all of my Rune videos? Have you taken my Rune courses? There's so much Rune information up here at thunderwizard.com. I don't even know how many Rune videos I have. So I don't really know what more it is you think I need to do. It makes me feel like you haven't seen all of my books and read all of my stuff, because I don't know what else there is for me to say. I've run out of things to say when it comes to runes. So if I thought there was more to teach, I would teach it. I was much younger before coming across your channel. I impulsively tattooed Othala and Manas and Algies on me and would love your insight. I don't have an insight about tattoos. I don't have any. And the reason I don't have any is there's a few. One is I'm pushing 58 and I can't decide how I look with my shirt off because I don't have chiseled abs. I do look big and muscular, but I also look like your strong middle-aged uncle, But and I see people, the way people are, the young kids. I see people in their 20s and they're just plastering their whole body, like their whole neck is covered in tattoos. And what it strikes me is people who don't have a sense of identity. They don't have a sense of self. And so the need to plaster yourself with, and they don't look good. My experience is, I would say 98% of tattoos don't look good. They look like, you're covered in some kind of, dirt, like you're covered in car grease or something. And, and people put like giant faces of their like kids or some stupid shit like that. A friend of mine, his dad died and he got his dad's face tattooed on his pec. And, of course the face is all, it's just so. I do like body art if it's done right, and if it actually looks good. I thought about after my divorce, because my wife didn't want me to have any tattoos. I thought about getting some tattoos, but I was going to put designs that you could see from a distance what they were. You know what I mean? And that it would, that was the idea. But then I fell in love with another woman who didn't want tattoos. So I said, hey, if not having tattoos means I get to have more sex, then no, I won't put one on. And now, but people putting rune tattoos on their body, look, if it makes you happy, great. For me personally, and this has nothing to do with anybody else, this is just me, to me the runes are too sacred to do that. My experience with the runes, and I'm different from other people, I think, when all I have to do is talk about a rune. If I talk about a rune, my whole world just becomes empowered and changed, and it's a consciousness expanding experience. And if it's a challenging rune, it's a challenging experience, and the idiot racists who think that they can put on, like the Thurisaj rune, or they can put the Thor's hammer or something on them, and they think that it means, yay for our side of the team. They don't understand that they are begging for Thor to bring his justice to them. So these are people who will feel, the balancing of Thor's hammer. I am not so full of myself that I think that I have the right to put Thor's hammer on my body, and because I don't know what lessons I have yet to learn. I'm not going to beg out of my grandiosity that, Thor come and set me straight. Thor doesn't have an ego. Me putting on Thor's hammer isn't going to make him go, hey, that's my guy. He's got my hammer on him. No, he doesn't care. You can't placate the gods that way, and the runes are the same. So what will happen is, if you wear those runes, for me, maybe not you, but for me, if I were to wear those runes, whichever ones you just mentioned, I would have to learn the lessons of those runes, because that's, my karmic experience in this life. So you put them on whenever you put them on, and everybody's different. So maybe you got a different whatever. The thing that I would certainly do is that I would study the truest meanings of those runes and try and live my life to try and be worthy of those energies, to be free of self-directed negativity, to be as conscious of myself as I possibly can, and to share those values with everybody I come across. So since I'm not ready to try and do that, I'm not going to put anything on my body. I'm not. For me, that would be a very grandiose act, and I'm not prepared to do that. You did it whenever you did it, and whatever your reasons were, whatever your reasons. So you asked my opinion, so there it is. I'm sure you're fine. You did it a while ago, you said, so it's now you can have a different experience of it. Let's see. Zaralath question. I have a morning yoga routine that is not spiritual, which I precede summoning the immortals. Is there a yoga practice or advice you could recommend? Well, if by yoga you mean stretching, I mean technically that's stretching, and if you got stretching exercises from yoga, it's true that the majority of yoga that is done in your average yoga studio is no longer connected to the spiritual path that it came from. A lot of people don't understand this about Asian spiritual physical practices, qigong, yoga. The yoga that we have now, when you drive by and you see yoga, and you see people doing downward facing dog and whatever it is that they're doing, that came about from Westerners who went to India and they wanted to learn spirituality. And so spirituality is yoga, which means union. And there's all different kinds of yoga. So when you first go to, back in the day, I don't know what it's like now, I think things have changed considerably, but 75 years ago, you went to India and you said, I want to learn spirituality, and they say, oh, you need to go see the yogi, and you go see the yogi and you say, Mr. Yogi, I want to learn spirituality, and they say, okay, and they teach you what's called Hatha Yoga, which means to balance the sun and the moon, the right and the left side of the body. And they give you these physical stretching exercises. The whole point of yoga, when you see yoga and you drive by, the whole point of those yoga exercises were meant to balance the body so it could handle the energies of mantra and meditation. That was the whole point of that. And you've got, people who spend their 30, 40, 50, 60 years arguing about the exact stretching procedure And they're forgetting that the whole point of that was to prepare the body for meditation. That was the whole point. Not just meditation, but Kundalini, the release of Kundalini, and the release of energy from mantra. That was the whole point of yoga. And so one thing I would say to you is to do the opposite of what you're doing, which is do the yoga stretching first, then do your summoning the immortals. Because the yoga is designed to get the body prepared, open up the meridians so that the summoning the immortals you'll have more space in the meridians for the energy. So do the opposite. Do the summoning the immortals after you do the yoga. The yoga is the warm-up for the meditation. If you really want to do yoga, I teach you some Kundalini yoga there. But there's no reason for you not to. I mean, you've just got a job, so you need to save up some money, so that's fine. Yeah, you do your stretching first and then do the summoning the immortals. You'll be just fine. That'll be a very good practice. Vincent.thunderwizard.com, honest feeling. I'm disappointed in myself, realizing that I'm addicted to negative thinking and feeling about myself. I don't know what the payoff is, but I'm committed to changing one day at a time. So the first step is just being aware, and that's what you've been doing. So Vincent, I know what you've been doing, and you're going in the right direction. You're happier, you're healthier, you're more prosperous. I already know that. So it's great that you're aware of all of these feelings, and even though you have this disappointment in yourself, and you're aware of this idea that you feel addicted to negative thinking, now you can act opposite that. You can still have those feelings, they won't necessarily go away, but you can take actions that represent your true fearlessness and the understanding that you are loved. And so that's a good thing to go by. Whenever you have decisions to make about things you want to do, you ask yourself, since I am loved, I deserve to have a loving experience for myself. What actions do I take that give the most honor and love to me? What actions are those? Okay, what else? Lushka, question. Do you know of the fourth state of consciousness? So, Lushka, right, you've been on my channel a while. What is it I say about asking me about things I don't teach? If you have to ask, do you know of, it means that you haven't heard me talk about it, which means that I don't teach it. And so you're asking me to talk about stuff I don't know. And again, it's disrespectful to me, because it means that what I am teaching is not entertaining enough for you. You have to talk about something else. It's disrespectful to me because now you're comparing me to some other teacher, some other teaching. It's disrespectful to everybody else because maybe nobody else knows what that's about. You're distracting people from what we're talking about or what I teach. So again, ask me about what I teach. If you want to ask somebody about whatever you just said, go talk to those people who teach that and ask them about it. Don't ask me about something I'm not familiar with. You don't know what I teach and what I don't teach? You have a YouTube channel that has 1,500 videos on it. You can watch as many of those. You can go and look at the playlists, and you can see all of the stuff that I teach, and then you'll know what to ask questions about. Zerlath, honest feeling. I have 5 tattoo pieces. All right, so all right. So I don't know that that's an honest feeling. An honest feeling is I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm confused, I'm elated, I'm miserable, not I did this, I have that. Yeah. Anyway, so you said all right, so you have that because you wanted to always remember that you'll live again. All right. Let's see what else. Creative Virgo, honest reaction. I'm not interested in honest. All right, what else? Zeralath, yoga reply. Oh, you also did mean to say that the yoga proceeded. Great, so you're perfect. Good shit. No other questions? Well, yeah, this was just a short one. I just wanted to check in with you. Say hello. I'm still here. I am in my new place. I'm adjusting to it. I had a really comfortable setup there, and I felt really comfortable doing work and making videos. Here, it's not quite as comfortable, so I'm getting used to it, but spending a lot of time outdoors, which is good for me. So that's it, guys. I wish you all the best. You know the deal. If you want to have the most powerful energy system experience in the world, in history, of course, according to my opinion, go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe. We just started off a new month, so now is a good time to subscribe. Click around and look for the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. You've got nothing to lose. If it doesn't work for you, you can unsubscribe, and it won't cost you. It's going to cost you less than what it's going to cost you to get a coffee at Starbucks, every few days. Go to courses.thunderwizard.com to see all of my books, all of my services, all the other things that I teach. And of course, we have $750 off the maoshan.thunderwizard.com, which is, in my experience, the most powerful spiritual practice ever revealed to humans. And I am, as I said, I'm of the opinion that this might even be from somewhere outside of our solar system. I think this energy is teaching us to go beyond our human limitations in ways we can't even understand yet. So I offer that to you, and if not, spend some time on the channel looking for the free stuff. Learn how to search my channel. Go on and look into the playlists. Watch all this stuff. Learn how to search terms on my channel. I got 1,500 videos on there, and hopefully that'll be able to answer any questions you have about what it is that we're doing here. So that's it for me. I wish you guys all the best. I will see you all very soon. Take care. Stay safe. And remember that you are loved, and try to act from that awareness that you are the consciousness that created the universe, and because of that, everything serves you, everything loves you. See you guys later.